for the first time ever on the show, we're actually going to have a repeat movie. We're doing Deadstream. It just came to Shudder. The movie is about a live streamer named Sean Ruddy. The worst possible thing that can happen to an influencer happens to him. He becomes demonetized. Uh, After months of apology videos and trying to rehab his image, he finally gets a sponsor back and he decides to win over the internet. He is going to spend the night in a haunted house. And that's where we will take from there. Deadstream. Here's that. Now, I don't know if you want to count this. This might be nitpicking, but Joseph Winter, who's also one of the filmmakers, him and his wife
Right.
Vanessa made this. He plays Sean, and it's pretty much a one-person show. The character doesn't work because he's way too charismatic, and there ain't no influencer that has the charisma that this guy does. Like, this dude's like super charismatic, fun to watch. I absolutely loved watching him. Like, there's no YouTuber that's like him.
No, he's way too entertaining to be a YouTuber.
They messed up. They wrote him too well.
Yeah, that goes for a couple of our like streamer centric movies this year. It's like, nah, you're actually far too entertaining to be on YouTube or whatever. And yeah, I guess Sean, right? That's the character name.
Yeah.
Sean he's like he's kind of pitiful.
Yes, he is.
The whole setup is, to make you feel pity for the guy. But he's also kind of got this like what's the best way to put it? Like
he's oblivious.
I was gonna say he's kind of got this like childlike, oblivious nature that is kind of endearing and a little bit annoying, but also endearing.
Well, there is a point towards the end, and spoiler, we'll talk about some things that happen in this, but we're not going to ruin anyone's enjoyment of it. I mean, it's really a straight and to the point movie, which I want to talk about, but we won't ruin anyone's fun with this movie. Towards the end, when he's starting to maybe become more genuine, though it's really hard to tell with him.
It's hard to tell.
One of the things that I think is genuine is he says, I don't want to be remembered as a douchebag.
Right.
And that's kind of one of the things that he's funny, he's entertaining, he's oblivious, childlike nativity. Like, all that
naive,
stuff.
That's
naive, but he is a douchebag too.
Yeah, he's got some douche to him for sure. I mean, the whole setup, the way he talks to his chat and stuff is, I mean, he's because like half the chat, which I've actually liked that in these movies that we've seen this year, like the chat becomes this alternative character. And they're just so mean to him. And it was so funny. It brought a lot of levity to it.
It's really well done. It's and they don't have it up the entire time, which is great because you don't have to decide what to pay attention to. But I mean, they are mean to him. They're in the beginning, they're not believing him, but then you have supporters for him as the movie's going on. They're telling him like, you got to get out, you got to go. Don't believe this, don't believe that.
Get out, Sean.
But even when he's getting like just destroyed by these spirits and stuff, that he's jumping out of buildings and whatnot. I mean, he's bleeding profusely, and someone just writes on there ketchup. Just so, and this movie, so and I had kind of touched on this earlier, but I think Deadstream does an excellent job of keeping things simple, and you don't get enough of that in horror nowadays.
Absolutely not. And man, don't we know, we see so many ideas that are just, they were cool ideas, but they weren't well thought through, and they become confusing. And how oftentimes were we like, man, the movie was short, it was simple, and it was entertaining, and I guarantee Deadstream is going to end up on our best of the year. I guarantee it. And it's because of its beautiful simplicity, man. It is a spooky house out in the woods and a one camera act, basically. And that is either going to be, when we talk about this a lot too, that's either going to be really good, or it's going to be it could be a mess. And this movie was very well thought out. It's simple, but it is expertly thought out and shot And I would almost have to think that they kind of had to, like Lucky was talking about on the last episode. I'm almost certain that they kind of shot this from like, start to finish in a way.
Right.
And the other thing that this movie does in its simplicity, which is incredibly hard to do, is ghouls and spirits and like monster types in this kind of thing could, if it's bad CG and all that kind of shit, totally take you out of it. But no, they kept it simple, Pat. What they do, practical effects, my man.
Yep. Kiss, keep it simple, stupid.
That's exactly right.
Right.
Tell myself that every day.
Yeah, right. And I love Hereditary as much as the next
Sure.
person. We talked about Hellraiser. It's a little more involved, but people prefer, I mean, you need something to just scare the shit out of you sometimes. There's a reason that Friday the 13th is a little more well known than Hellraiser. Like Jason might be in space, he might be in Manhattan, he might be at Crystal Lake, but it's a slasher. It doesn't matter what. Yeah. Hellraiser, you got your, lament configuration and puzzle boxes and pain, suffering, and all that stuff. So there's a reason it's kind of down on the totem pole.
Right.
This movie, like you said, it beautiful simplicity. But what you also said is it's meticulously planned. It must have been. I mean, it had to have been. Yeah, like the way everything it's done, like, and it's almost like they're walking you through it as he's setting up all of the cameras throughout the rooms. Like, it's
yeah,
I loved it.
Oh yeah, right. Sorry to cut you off. It's like and because he has like a tablet, right, where he has like he can scroll through his cameras, and just like anytime anytime in the movie he pulls up his tablet to like look through, I got like anxious. I was like, oh shit, like what's he gonna see?
Yeah.
And that's like such a cool, simple way to build anxiety and tension, and they do some really interesting and fun stuff with setup with that particular little thing, and I thought that was really clever.
Yeah, and they really make you like you're never completely comfortable because it isn't a haunted house.
Right.
But there's so many fake outs, and they're not like really big deals. But there's in the beginning, he's holding up a tablet, like you had mentioned, and he keeps lifting it up, pulling it down. And you keep expecting something to be there, and there's never anything there. And this happens for the first like 30 minutes or so, and then things start to ramp up. It gets a little bit crazier, and then you get the first appearance of a monster. And as Regina's talked about before, it really got her.
Right, yeah.
It
loaded with jump scares, but like not at a pace that's like okay, like they time them out well.
They do, and I think it's gonna sound weird, but this is very lovingly made. Like you can tell, this is almost like a passion project.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I thought the same thing. I thought, man, there was some just real love put into this movie. Just like I said, the practical effects. At the end of the day, I didn't expect it to be a monster movie necessarily, with it being kind of like a ghost house, haunted house setup, and it's a fucking monster movie, and you just don't get those. And there's I think I said it on Monday. There's a Sam Raimi campy, tongue in my cheek, but I still want to be scary, but goofy, but also scary.
Yeah.
There's that is got its heart and soul right in this movie. And had it not had that, I don't think I would have liked it as much. I think it would have been cool still. But that really gave this movie like some real depth, and it kind of breaks the tension from all the, I'm tense because I'm in a haunted house. And I thought that just the like you said, there was like just so much care, and it felt like he wrote this too, right, with his wife, correct? And Joseph and Vanessa Winter, and they must have spent a lot of time going back over stuff, I think, probably, and being like, nah, that's like maybe too camp, and and they buttoned it all up. And I really think they like, you nailed it, like they really cared about making this movie.
And I know you mentioned the practical effects, so I'm assuming you love the creature effects in this.
Love the creature effects. I thought they were gross, and not just this side of, like, I know that's like a prop, but that's okay. You know what I mean? Like that, there's a certain side of that is like makes it even better.
Yeah, they are gross, they're unique.
Hmm.
And nowadays, because we don't see practical effects as much, they stand out in, like you said, their camp value. They're in a way, they're charming, not in a, oh, how cute, look at that type
Right.
of thing. Like it's just, it's really cool to see that much craft and care put into it. And it adds to the movie because at the end of the day, it's just like you said, it's a haunted house, it's a monster movie in a haunted house.
Yeah.
No,
And I couldn't help but think like the guys and gals who designed those creatures, like they have to be really proud of what they put on screen because it's awesome. They did such a good job, and I hope whoever did that like has a rich future in the industry because man, they killed it.
yeah, this is really good stuff. This is like Tom Savini, like what the guy who
Oh,
does Walking Dead, Greg
oh,
Nicotero.
Nicotero,
Nicotero,
Nicotero.
yeah,
Yep,
who worked under Savini, and
right.
it's like just this is the people who made the effects for Deadstream. They would have been like a big deal in the '80s, Fangoria type
Oh, cover
stuff.
of Fangoria for 3 months in a row. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's just amazing that this kind of stuff. It's the stuff that people talk about nowadays, and they're like, "Oh, practical effects, they're better than CGI." But it's kind of a thing that you say just to say.
Right.
Like in this movie, you see it, and it's not about practical versus CGI. It just adds to the movie.
Oh, totally. It turned it from a movie that I was like pretty I would have been pretty excited to tell people about to being like, oh no, you have to, spoiler alert, as the end of this review, is you have to see it, like it's if you're a fan of the genre at all, like in this regard, man, it's a must watch kind of situation. So it's Ray Bishop. It looks like he did the was in charge of the props and stuff. So I think maybe so.
Yeah, and beautifully done.
Well done.
And along those lines of charm and drawing you in, the comedy in this is so well written.
Hmm.
Right from the very beginning, there's like a montage of his pranks. One is like the baby Moses prank, and one is him being smuggled across the border.
That one was really funny. Yeah.
It's just like YouTube pranks have been around forever, but these are those taken to an almost I mean, they're still ridiculous, but the titles are kind of intelligent, they're witty.
Yeah.
Like, it's making fun of like that sphere. It's really funny. And then
Yeah.
just Sean himself, like there's a funny comment he makes about when he finds a clown, he makes a comment about the clown, which is really funny. It's kind of a grown thing, but then it says something about his character too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I kind of like the way when he's like reading what the chat's kind of saying and answering back, like that whole like interaction, how he's kind of like pleading with them. I thought
Yeah.
that was really funny, like really made me laugh a lot. So
Yeah, like he's genuinely upset, frustrated, and disappointed with him.
yeah.
Just really. And then the funny thing is he takes whatever the audience wants. He's like, fine, I guess. Like, like because he knows who pays the bills at the end of the day.
Right. And I like how they're always reminding him, these are your rules, Sean. These are your rules.
Exactly. And I love and it's one of the tropes of horror, and horror tropes, like people love them. But one of the tropes is trying to start your car type of thing and people making bad decisions. In this, there's no convoluted thing like what's wrong with the car? Oh no, someone fucked with the car. In the very beginning, like me protecting myself against me, like it's so stupid.
Stupid as shit.
Adds to the character, adds to the movie. Takes care of that trope, and it's hilarious.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. The movie had a real spirit to it of lighthearted horror fun. And I don't know if you're, I think what most of us genre fans, we love that, and give me more of this stuff. Give me more. Joseph Winter, make more of these.
Well, that's the perfect segue. Deadstream, it's on Shudder right now. Oh, Blake, here's the question: see or no see?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely see it. I appreciate you letting me review it here again on the show, and it's definitely a must watch.
Yeah, this one, and everything that you said is absolutely true, including by the end of the year when we do our episode about best of 2022, our favorite of 2022. If we see that's something that's over this, then I'll be so happy because this is
Yeah.
an amazingly good movie. So absolutely watch this movie.